welcome to the Life of Growth and Peace podcast. It is I, Coach Gazi. Welcome. I thank you for listening to me talk, listening to my podcast. I thank you for dwelling with me. Thank you for your questions, your comments, and your emails, and all that other good stuff. Today I do want to talk about faith, and so before I go ahead and get into that, if you're new here, I just want to say welcome. This is the Life of Growth and Peace podcast. I am Coach Gazi, and here I tell you all of my business in hopes that it'll help you live a life of growth and peace, that it'll inspire you, that it'll motivate you, that it'll give you something, that you'll be able to take something from what I share with you today. And so today I really want to talk about faith. And so I had watched one of my previous videos about my faith journey, and I recognized that that journey has kind of been the catalyst of my faith. And what I talk about in that journey, it was a lot of other things, but the main one is I was in the network marketing business, and me and some friends of mine who were also in the business, and my boyfriend at the time, we all went to OKC from North Carolina, and I didn't have any money. And so I was able to stay in a hotel, I was able to eat, I was able to do all the things that everybody did, and I was not left out. And so the Bible's version of faith says it is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And when I Googled the definition, that gave me complete trust or confidence in someone or something. And so I think it's funny because the other day I was talking to my sis, and I said, like, what is the benefit of the doubt? Because I know the expression, but for some reason I really wasn't understanding like the benefit of the doubt. And she was saying that, when you doubt someone, you give them the benefit of the doubt is doubting someone, but giving them the benefit that, hey, they might do right. So I'll say, like, let's say you're in a, like, let's say you let somebody borrow money. Boom, there we go. Let's say you let someone borrow money, right? And notoriously, this person does not really give money back. But because it's you give them the benefit of the doubt, meaning even though you're cognizant of the fact that they don't typically give money back, you have a hope or you have faith that they will. And so that kind of goes into what I want to talk about with what is faith, right? It being the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And so when I talk about my journey, like that particular part of my journey, I had faith, I hoped, I believed, even though I couldn't tangibly see, touch, or I wasn't sure that it could come to pass, but I wanted it to come to pass so bad. And my thing is always, Lord, your will be done, not mine. And so I share in that story that as I was praying, asking the Lord to make a way for me to get to OKC, that a lady in my church, she came and she put her hand on my shoulder as I was saying amen to my prayer, and told me that the Lord said, you're going to go on this trip and what have you. And this was like 2 days before my trip. And so that is faith. Believing something. Also I share faith is like, I wanted to have my baby, I wanted to level up in my business, and I wanted to go to that business convention. And all three of those things happened. Those things did not happen how I intended them to happen, but they still did happen. And so I have this note that I have in my phone that this is from March 5th, and it says, walking by faith doesn't always look how we want it. There is no perfect way to walk by faith. We can't be so paralyzed by fear that we never move. God wants us to seek him in all things. As long as you submit the job, the person, the thought, the idea, whatever it is, as long as you submit it, God will show up. He will always let you know if something is in his will for you. So even if or when you make mistakes, God will use the very thing you and the enemy consider a flaw to show his strength in your life. So how can we learn to fly if we never fall? Stop being so paralyzed by fear and trust that no matter what, God has my back. And I know, like, being a Christian, taking this Christ walk, like, on this journey, sometimes it's really, really hard to believe that God has our back. You know, we go through trials, we go through storms, we go through tribulations, we lose friends, we lose family members, we lose jobs, we lose a lot of things, we lose the old versions of ourselves. You know, sometimes it seems like taking this walk is a constant state of loss, but the hope is that I won't forever be in this loss. I think it's all about your perspective, and I recently, you know, I'll share that in another video. I've recently been diving in on my own into perspective, and I still want to do a little bit more research about that, but it's been ongoing for the past few years, just getting my mind wrapped around perspective and how your perspective can actually shift and change your life, for better or for worse. You know, perspective is, if you're saying you will always be broke, you'll always be dumb, you'll always be stupid, you'll never find a person to love you, it's hard being a parent, you know, it's hard raising kids, you can't do this, you can't do that. When you continue to say those things, you'll have exactly what you speak. And I think it's all about perspective, because even in loss, you know, even in loss, this is what I want to say about loss. Like, I've experienced loss before, and I know a lot of people who honor the death date of the person that they love who's no longer here. They honor that death date because that's like the final time they saw the person, right? They honor that. And even though they give respect to the life lived, they're so focused on the date that the person died that everything else kind of seems null and void. And so those memories come in tandem, right? Occasional, you know, they're not consistent because you're so focused on the day that they left you, the day that they abandoned you, the day that they left you alone. But what if we focus on the life they lived? And so my daughter's dad passed away, my mom passed away, and the first year, like after my daughter's dad died, it was really hard just getting my footing, because that was really my friend. And so, like, I went into a really dark place after that. But I was like, okay, I don't want to do that. And I learned through that experience of loss, and it was more people than that through it, but I learned through those experiences of loss that it's about my perspective. So even though I was in that hole, I because I didn't have control over my emotions, you know, grief is such a thing. Some days are beautiful, some days are tragic, some days are in between, you know what I'm saying? But it's about your perspective. So I don't focus on honoring the day they died. I know that this is the day they died, but what about the life they lived? So one thing that me and my daughter was talking about recently was, like, you know, I miss my mom calling me at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, when she was here, it got on my nerves, but it's something that I missed. And so I miss it. Like, and even talking to her dad about his daughter, you know, I miss that, you know? And so I try to honor things, like telling my daughter, like, oh, your dad liked to do this, or he liked to eat that, or grandma used to do this, or grandma used to do that. Honoring them in our day-to-day lives. That way my focus isn't solely on they died, they left me, I'm here alone. Like, no, I appreciate that I got the opportunity to experience life with them, to live with them, to love with them. And I'm sad that they're gone, but I don't have to live in that sad place because they're now gone. And so when I talk about faith and belief and hope, you know, it's the hope for better. When I was in that depressed state, I was hoping for better. I was believing for better. But I knew also it was something that I had to do in order to get the better. And that was, I had to shift my perspective. And that's what faith is. The substance of the things you hope for, but the evidence of the things you don't see. When I was in that place, I was sad, I was frustrated, I didn't know how to get out, but I believed that I would get out, and I knew that I would not be at that place forever. And so I kept moving forward, hoping, believing, trusting, and having faith that trouble won't last always. I won't always be here. And it was one thing at a time, doing something that brings me joy. Taking a bath, taking a walk, walking the dog, going outside, going to the gym, whatever I had to do to get a little bit of joy back in my life. Sharing my experience, telling people when they say, hey, how you doing? I'm not doing well today. And being honest in that today it wasn't well, and sharing my experience of the day. We're so used to saying, oh, today was good. Oh, everything is fine. No, today was okay. Like, it could have been better. It could have been worse. I usually say so far so good, because it could have been better or it could have been worse. But what I learned through my process is to be honest about how I feel. So some days I felt melancholy. Some days I felt jovial. Whichever and however. But I made sure to be honest, not only with myself, but the people I was talking with. And I would express to them, like, I'm not telling you this for you to feel sad for me, but today was just a day. And that's okay. It's okay to have days. But the thing is, it's all about perspective. And will you keep having that same experience of that same day every day consistently after? Or will you decide to shift something in your focus and move forward? And even for me, I was going to the gym for like 20 months consecutively. June, May. Yeah. So for 22 months consecutively, I was going to the gym. And then I had a life event happen, and it kind of put me at a catalyst, and I had not been to the gym. Like in May, it was over. I hadn't gone to the gym. I was just done. June came, July came, I still hadn't gone to the gym. But something about when August rolled around, my perspective shifted. I said, I know when I was going to the gym, I was thinking better. I was moving more. I gained the same weight that I lost a year and a half ago, that I worked so hard to keep off. All the muscles and stuff that I garnered are kind of diminishing. My stomach, I was on my way to a flat pack. It was getting there. My leg almost did the strong leg muscle thingy. I don't know what that's called, but I call it the strong leg muscle thingy. And my leg almost did it. And then I just completely stopped everything because of what happened. And I recognized, like, it's my perspective. Like, get up and go. I need to move. I need to do the thing that I was doing consistently. So one day I just got up and I just got dressed. The first day I got dressed for the gym, I did not go to the gym. Honest truth. I got up, got dressed for the gym, was like, okay, and I didn't go. And I didn't go the following day, and I didn't go, and then it was like 3 days later, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm such a horrible person. I wrote it in my planner that I was gonna go to the gym all these days. I put in my planner that I'm gonna record my videos and do these on this day. And it's not happening how I thought it was gonna happen. But what I did do was I got up and went to the gym, and I said, you know what? Even if I can't go every day, let me try to go every other day. And then the weekend came, I didn't go Saturday or Sunday. I missed 2 consecutive days. Oh my gosh. But then when Monday rolled around, I got up and I went. Did I go Monday? I did. Because now I want to read more, right? It's like, okay, I intend to read more because it's my perspective, because I see myself in a certain light. And how do I become the person that I see myself as? I got to do the thing that I see people who are where I want to be do, and they read. And so I try to do the audiobooks, but headphones are for music and talking on the phone. Watching videos, it is not for listening to an audiobook. And so I have a book, and what I do is when I go to the gym, I get on a treadmill for 20 minutes because that's the allotted time that I want to read the book for. And I walk on the treadmill and I read the book for 20 minutes. And I think it's a win, and I was like, okay, 2 birds, 1 stone. And the first day I felt good because I really wanted to read. I had a hard time focusing at home, so I couldn't really read how I wanted to. After like 5 minutes, I was done. I was over it. I just wanted to get up and go get a snack. But when I took the book to the gym with me, that's the first thing I do. I don't stretch. I don't do anything. I just put my stuff away in the locker. I go to the treadmill and I read my book for 20 minutes. And I'm able to get chapters. And the other day I read 3 chapters, like 3 full chapters in that 20 minutes. I was so happy. The first day I think I read like 1 chapter, maybe 2, but then I did it, you know, and it made me feel so good, you know, because I'm doing the thing. I'm doing the thing that I see myself doing, that I believe myself to be doing. And so I'm just taking the necessary steps that I believe. And who knows, maybe that's not the step that I need to take. But I feel like it's a win. And so with all that, I say, like, our lives will change for the better. We just have to be mindful of the things that we speak, you know. I want to garner good friendships. So whenever I see a post that said there are no good friends and females are all that, I don't even listen to it. I don't even watch it, because that's not going to be my experience. Even I was watching a video earlier of Miles Monroe, and he was saying that it's lonely at the top, because, you know, when you're a leader, you're in the forefront, you're by yourself, and you're lonely and you're alone. And I was like, no, that's not my portion. I know how to be alone, but I will not be lonely, because I trust that God will surround me with the right people. And so we just have to be mindful of the things that we speak. If you want to have good friendships, one, you have to be a good you have to be a good friend in order to receive good friendships, right? That's one. But also, you have to speak positively. Like, certain people I don't hang around, because how they talk to themselves. Like, if this is your self-talk, if you're, I'm so dumb, I'm so stupid, I can't this, I can't that. If you're always, I can't, I won't, I don't, no, then I'm okay not associating with you, because you're comfortable not reaching your full potential. You're comfortable being mediocre. And I know someone who said that and are okay with that life, but I'm not. I don't want a mediocre life. I want an extraordinary life. I want a life that is exceedingly and abundantly above all I can ask, think, or imagine. And so in order to achieve those things, there are things that I have to sacrifice, like wanting to lay in the bed and watch Netflix, or just getting up and going to the gym. It's a sacrifice. Like, I want to lay in the bed and eat my graham crackers and just watch Netflix and not do anything and just go about my day. But I know for my future self, like, right now I've been reading money books. The past 6 months I've been reading money books, because I want to be financially responsible. So in order for me to be financially responsible, I have to learn the thing that's going to make me be the thing that I want to be. And so with that being said, I got to sacrifice. And whoo, child, you know, sometimes it's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable sacrifice from time to time, but I'm grateful for it, because even like in reading about money, it's a sacrifice on the front end, but the back end is worth the benefit. And so what I want to exercise in this season is discipline. And that takes hope, faith, and trust, because, you know, I'm consistent, but I don't think disciplined is anything I've ever been in my life. And I'm just going to be honest. Like, I can be consistent. I'm good. I'm consistent. But disciplined, you know. And I don't want to say, like, oh, I know I'm a hard worker. I don't think being a hard worker equates to discipline. And I think discipline comes in, like, sacrificing self, like, you know, being on my celibacy journey. That took discipline, you know, and not putting myself out there in such a way and not putting myself in certain situations. That did take discipline. A lot of sacrifice, but discipline, you know. But I wouldn't say necessarily that I'm a disciplined person. And I want to be more disciplined. I don't want to be like strict and regimented in this. I would like to add some of those qualities to my life, because honestly, I love me. I love how I am. But I do recognize there are areas in my life where I can grow, where I need to grow, and where I should grow, and where I want to grow, if that makes sense. And so I just look forward to everything that's to come, everything that I have faith to receive, everything that I believe is mine already, and everything I see myself having. And also, faith comes with recognizing, like, okay, I live my life as, Lord, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven in my life. And so in walking in faith, when things don't go my way, I have to trust and believe. Well, I do trust and I do believe that all things do work together for my good. And so even if my outcome is not necessarily what I intend for it to be, I have faith that it's going to work out regardless, because God has my back. And so that's a thing, that's a real life thing that I am journeying through right now. Just recognizing, like, I know that God has my back, and sometimes the outcomes I want don't come to pass how I envision, but that doesn't make God any less good. Even like when I share my story about I wanted to have my baby, level up in my business, and go to OKC. I thought I was going to carry my baby to term, continue to level up in my business, and because I was leveling up in my business, that I would have the money to pay for OKC. I literally gave birth to my son. I gave birth to my baby. I had a stillborn baby, and if those of you who don't know what a stillborn is, I delivered a baby unalive. And so I delivered him unalive, and but I like, my water broke. I went through the full labor and delivery process, and then 2 days later at 11:59 p.m. I leveled up in my business, right? And then I was able also to go to OKC. None of those things happened how I envisioned them happening, but the imprint that those things have on my life, on my faith, and on my journey are so much. And I've been like tapping into that so much with where I am now. You know, all of those things happened in 2017. It's 2023 right now. You know, that was 6 years ago. And I'm holding tight because I had gotten a place that I believe that even though God was good, he wasn't good to me because things weren't happening how I thought that they should happen. And what I learned is, just because it's not happening how I think that it should happen doesn't mean that God isn't good to me, because there's a testimony. And so I thought back to that time where I really wanted to go to OKC, and I really wanted to have my baby, and I really wanted to level up in my business, and I did all of those things exactly. All of those things came to pass. And having my baby, delivering my baby who was not alive, was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it made me who I am today. Had I not had that experience, although tough, although sad, I cried for a long time. I was so displaced. I didn't even know who I was. But one thing, you know, the Lord said to me was that I wasn't ready for that baby. I wasn't ready to raise him as the king that he was. I would have ruined him. And I had to do a soul search. What within me would have ruined that baby? And then I had to think, well, then I believe now was the Holy Spirit, because it was like something in me, right? I believe now that was the Holy Spirit said, you know, little boys bring home their mother. And if he brought the 2017 version, if he would have brought the exact version of you home to marry, that version of you, would you be okay with it? And I always say, although I was a good person at that time, I was still hurt. I still had trauma. I still had all these unaddressed things that were lying dormant within me that I didn't even know existed. And so if he brung that hurt, nonchalant, emotionally unavailable person home, I don't know if I'll be proud that this was his person. But the me now is like, yes, come on, baby, you gonna be good. She gonna pray for you. She gonna cover you. She gonna take care of you, you know. But that version of me was so petty. Like, ooh, petty was in my butt, you know. And me and my sis laugh all the time that, like, oh, sometimes I get so mad at God because he's like delivering me from that petty spirit. And like, sometimes I just want to be so petty to people when they rub me the wrong way or they get on my nerves. But it's legitimately not even in me anymore. You know, oh man, it's not even in me anymore. And sometimes I get so upset because, like, that's what I had. Like, oh, that's what I had. That was me to my core. But I'm thankful for where I am. And I say all that to say, like, even if where you are right now is not where you want to be, like, continue to have hope, continue to have faith, continue to believe, because the word said that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. In January of 2017, I did not imagine that I would be here today. March 2017, I definitely didn't see me being here. All I knew, because I had an experience in March 2017, I said, Lord, I never want to be in this position ever again in my life. Please heal me, because the common denominator of all my failed relationships is me. And whatever is in me that is causing me to have these type of relationships and these type of situations, and whatever is causing me to attract these type of friends, please remove it from my life. And he did, and it was hard, losing friends, changing environments, like circumstances changing. It was hard because I was used to one lifestyle. But when you pray that prayer, and then when you say, Lord, your will be done in my life, it's like boom, it shifts. And so I hope that whatever you have faith for, as long as it aligns with the will of God for your life, that it comes to pass. And my prayer for you is that even though things may not happen how you expect them to happen, how you want or how you need them to happen, that you can still have faith, trust, and belief that all things work together for your good, and that you are called and that you are chosen specifically to exist, and that your difference is beautiful, because the world wants us to all be the same, but if we were all the same, where would our flavor be? We weren't called to be the same. We were called to be different. There are 8 billion people on earth. Nobody has the same fingerprints. Identical twins are born with the same DNA, but their fingerprints are still different, because we're made to be different. You were chosen to be different. You are uniquely and wonderfully made. And so I hope that you have faith. I hope that you can garner faith and garner strength. And I hope you can find one thing that brings you joy today and one thing that'll make you smile. And so I love you. I hope the best for you. Thank you for listening to me. You can go ahead and like and subscribe and leave your comments and email me your questions and whatever have you. And I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye for now.